Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back for our last session of today. So now we are going to see about the chanting of the holy name, either with Japa, bhajan, kirtan. So I will share my screen. Okay. So Japa, kirtan, and bhajan workshop. It's actually supposed to be a workshop, but a workshop will take longer time. It will be mostly a theory, but theory of how to practice. And if some of you are interested, I'm giving every Monday online a Japa workshop that is actually enlivening me and the few participants who follow it. Okay, so Japa Kirtan Bhajan workshop. So first we have a little introduction about the holy name. My spiritual master, His Holiness Sachinandana Swami, sometimes said that we could open a university of the holy name, that there are so many things that can be said about the holy name that it could be taught as in the university. This is, as I guess most of you know, this is the particular practice we have for this age, the Kali Yuga, that is recommended for this age. The practice of chanting the holy name is engaging all the senses. This is one of the difference from other type of meditation, silent meditation. There, our tongue, our fingers, our eyes, our ears, everything is actually engaged. Chanting needs to be done with absorption so that it will work nicely. So it's always nice to chant, but the level of absorption we can enter into it will define the ability of the mantra to transform us. And this is the most important, this is the greatest blessings of Gauranitai who have appeared in this Kali Yuga, especially to distribute the holy name and thus deliver all the conditioned souls, ourselves included. So here we have few points to keep in mind about the application of the chanting of the holy name. Maybe I can ask Chirag if you like to read this slide.
First meeting with Krishna comes with the holy name. Most important practice, giving our full best to chant with attention and not to go on with automatic pilot.
Oops, sorry. Okay, yeah, those are three small points. That's the first meeting that we will have with Radha and Krishna is through the holy name. That's the most important practice. I mean, we know Shravanam and Kirtanam are the two first practice of the 9 items of devotional service that are considered the most important. And actually, the chanting of the holy name is implying both. Either that we chant in Japa or that we chant in Kirtan, it's not only chanting, it's also hearing. So both in this practice of chanting of the holy name, both are very powerfully linked. And yeah, the key is like we had in the other slide to enter the holy name with some absorption and to not go on automatic pilot as we are chanting the holy name. And we will see a little later how we can do that, how we can enter into a realm of absorption. So here we have three consciousness zones in which we can be while we chant the holy name, and the name of that and the characteristic of that. So basically we have the first one, which is called Nam Aparad, which is like the dreamland. We are chanting, but we are dreaming. We are just thinking of so many things. So this is the place where the Nam Aparad, dreamland. Then we have the next stage, which is Namabas, where it is described, it's the first ray of the holy name. It's like the sun is coming. We did not see the sun yet, but we see the daylight coming. So this is like Namabas, and this is the area we want to move from the Namaparad to Namabas. And this is actually not so difficult because we can achieve this area of Namabas as soon as we make effort. As soon as we are trying, then we are in the place of Namabas. And then we have the third place, third consciousness zone, which is Shuddhanam. That's the full manifestation of the holy name and full revelation of the holy name. So this is like not so often happening. It's quite rare, but this is where we want actually to reach. So we have different explanation of those three levels. And maybe we could ask Judge Balia Prabhu to read the different characteristic of those three stages.
Consciousness zone was dreamland, nama aparadha, planning the future, wandering on the past, thinking of people, lethargy, tiredness.
Thank
Second,
you. So that's when we are chanting. While we chant, we plan the future, we wander in the past, and like this, and that makes our chanting in Nama Parad. Please continue.
second efforts, namabas, techniques and moves. Give your plan in the hands of the Lord. Chant the mantra properly. Send a small prayer. Sorry. Send a small prayer and come back to the chanting. Pray for help.
Thank you.
Third, with the name Shuddhanam, the holy name appears. The consciousness is pure enough to stay happily with the holy name.
Thank you. Thank you. Your children is chanting nicely. So yeah, here we see a little bit the characteristics. So in Namabas, the place where we do some effort, the effort can be different, like it can be working on some techniques or moods. Like also sometimes when we chant, we are doing plans of, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. So to give all the plans in the hands of the Lord as we chant, to chant the mantra properly, like full names. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami was saying that in his temple was a devotee who was chanting very fast. And he really carefully tried to hear this devotee chanting. And he said, I noticed that this devotee was actually not chanting the Maha Mantra. This devotee was chanting the Mini Mantra, which meaning that he was keeping many names into the mantra. So but that's also part of the techniques or moods to actually chant full mantras and send a small prayer and come back to the chanting. This is a technique that is actually quite powerful as we chant the holy name. When we notice that our mind was somewhere away, we bring it back to the holy name with a prayer. So we send a prayer together with the activity of bringing the holy name back. Pray for help. It's also like a mood. And then the Shuddhanam, then the holy name appear. The consciousness is pure, and we are happily staying with the holy name all the time. Okay. So now we will go more into the holy name connected to Japa workshop. So now we will see some techniques, and maybe I ask Sudhir and Harika to read this slide.
Japa workshop techniques. Bringing the mind back from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature. One must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Bhagavad Gita 6.26. Stay with the mantra as long as possible. As soon as you notice the mind was gone, bring it back. Focus on the hearing. Make sure that you chant all the names. Pronounce carefully. Pronounce the mantra softly so that you can hear it. Align the body, mind, and heart. Use determination. Vows. Align your life. Having enough rest and good relationship. Eating sattvic and moderate.
Okay, thank you. So here are a few techniques we can use for good japa chanting, and it starts with the advice of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita: wherever the mind goes, you bring it back. And then when you bring it back, you try to stay. Like we hear, we should always remember Krishna and never forget him. So more or less, first we remember, and then we don't forget. Then we don't allow our mind to go somewhere else. So also in Japa, whenever we notice the mind was gone, we bring it back. And when we bring it back, then we try to stay as long as possible, and we observe the mind. We don't let it go. We just stay with the holy name. There is actually a nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita. I think it's Kapila Dev, who is saying that he gives the example of a hunter who is capturing an animal, a wild animal. And he say once the hunter has captured a wild animal, he should be very careful to not allow the animal to go back, to go away. He should make sure that the animal cannot escape anymore. So it's comparing this example with the mind, that once we take the mind back, then we should be very careful and vigilant to not allow the mind to go away. Focus on the hearing. That was mainly the advice of Prabhupada. Hear carefully. As soon as we hear, the mind is captured. Pronouncing softly with all the words, all the syllables of the mantra, aligning body, mind, and heart. Using determination, vow, unless we have some amount of vow or sankalpa into it, the mind will be more powerful than us. We need to bring some type of determination into it to get any chance to enter into the realm of absorption. And the last one I think is also quite important: align your life, having good rest and good relationship, eating properly. So the way you live will actually make your consciousness and your mind vibrate in a certain frequency that will allow you to enter deeply into the chanting of the holy name. Like for example, in the temple, I'm living in the temple, in temple life, we request, or we suggest the resident to go early to bed, to after 6 o'clock to not speak anymore of things of the world. Maybe they can read a little bit, and then the mind comes down slow and start to be set into a spiritual type of vibration. And then in the next morning when you wake up, you already have some spiritual tuning in your consciousness from the evening before, and then actually the mind is very calm, and then you can enter into the morning program, into the chanting of japa with peaceful mind. And you will also have a very restful night if before going to bed you are dealing with problem and doing many active things. Then night will be more difficult. So aligning our life, if we are too tired, usually it's almost bound that you will have a bad japa. It's just you don't have the strength. If you are tired, you just don't have the strength to control it, to bring it back, and it's just like automatic pilot japa. And also relationship. When we have problems in relationship, this is like taxing a lot. This is taking a lot of our mental power, and often when we do japa, then those things will come. Oh, what should I reply to him? What he will do to reply to what I told him before? And all those things are actually very, very taxing, and they're taking a lot of our mental energy. So if we can have like proper relationship, then we are much more likely that the mind will be peaceful. A lot of the disturbance of the mind are connected to a problem in a relationship. So those are few techniques and basic point to consider. And I see Nikita has raised her hand. Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, regarding using determination vows, can you give some examples like how to have some vows while, like, in this case?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mhm.
and this one point also, align the body, mind, and heart. So something more in this.
Okay. Okay. Determination can be used. I mean, one very important thing is as you start Japa, yeah, we are in the Japa workshop. As you start Japa, that you don't just put your hands in the beads and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You take at least half a minute with folded hands to tune yourself and to pray. Okay, now I'm going to chant. Now I'm going to spend some time with the holy name, which is non different than Radha and Krishna. I wish I will do it good. My dear Prabhupada, I will do that as an offering for you. Please help me to do it. So start already with a prayer. That's like the first. And then, I mean, determination is always connected to your goal. It's actually an effort to move toward your goal. So when you start and you offer prayer, you tune also yourself. What will be the goal? What do I want to do today in my japa? Do I want to hear every name? Do I want to be in a prayerful mood? And then you will use the determination to move into this area. And then it can be done every time you notice that the mind was away, you can bring it back with a prayer. And that's actually very much connected to the determination. Oh, yeah, now I want to chant better, or now I want to hear, or now I want to stay with the holy name. Please help me. So the please help me brings it, transform the desire into a prayer. But you need to have a goal, actually a goal, that's what you want, and then from there you use the determination. Okay, I will try to reach that goal. So it can be, of course, in the beginning, one needs to be set, the goal needs to be set, and then as you chant, you will bring some drops of determination, and those drops of determination can be every time you notice the mind was away, or it can be done at every mantra. Okay, but it can be done very subtly. It's not that every mantra you have to stop. Okay, now I will try. It's actually just, you can do it in a very subtle way, that when you start the mantra, okay, this one I will try, this one I will try, this one I will try. But it's something that's it's actually the root of effort comes through this vow or determination of doing it in a nice way. And as many small drops of determination you put into it, as beautiful and efficient your japa will be. But if this determination is not really there, then the mind will just take you into dreamland. It will be very, very difficult to have good japa. And the next about aligning the body, mind, and heart. This is actually one technique His Holiness Sachinandana Swami speak a lot about in his name, divine name or living name, the living name. And there he explained that first we need to be on the alignment of the body. We should be sitting straight. We should be in a proper good environment, not too tired. We should pronounce with our mouth nicely the holy name. So that's the alignment of the body. Then comes the mind. Bring the mind back when it wanders around. And then comes the heart, that which is actually connected to prayer, that you are doing it into the proper mood, you are chanting in the proper attitude. So he said, often sometimes we are trying to pray but we don't bring the mind back. Sometimes we are trying to chant but we are in a very bad position, like Prabhupada will sometimes say in one famous tape, when we hear him chant, he said to his disciples, sit properly a few times in the japa chanting. So that's to align the three of them, the mind, the body, and the heart. Maybe before I take the next question, is that all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very great explanations.
Okay. Then I see Deepali has a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just wanted to say thank you because I'm regularly attending a Monday Japa session, and it's really helpful to focus on good chanting, and your tips also help us to how we can focus and concentrate on chanting. And these tips are really helpful for me. So
Mm.
thank you so much for
Thank you. Thank you. It's actually also for me very, very helpful just to make those Japa inspiration once a week. It's the whole week I'm carried by the inspiration of the Monday, and I can really work nicely on different perspective, different moods, different inspiration. Bhakti Nivon.
Yes. Do you have a tip when to use which technique?
Actually, you might need to do it. Oops, what did I do here? Usually, because the mind get accustomed to one technique, usually you have to change it from time to time. So you have to adopt a different one, and then you can do it for some times. When you have a palette of different colors, you might choose, oh, I like more this one or more this one. So according to different personalities, some different meditation or different mood will work better. Like, for example, when I do those japa inspirations, sometimes for some devotee, it works very nice because they are very structured type of mind, and they like point 1, point 2, point 3. And some other participant, they feel, oh, come on, I really cannot connect to that. And then another day, someone else can connect to this, and maybe the other one not so much to that. So you have to see a little bit what works best for you. And you can have a palette of techniques or a palette of inspiration that you have for your japa chanting, and that you rotate from time to times. Like Adipurusha was saying, the first 4 rounds I'm meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord while chanting, and then the next 4 rounds I pray in a mood of, okay, I want to take shelter of you. And then the next 4 rounds so he's making not he's making a switch after some rounds of different inspiration or different techniques he can use. But for some, they might use a technique for 1 week and then change it for the next week. So there it's actually very, very individual. You have to see what works best for you, but it's good to have a palette of inspiration and techniques that you feel relevant or you feel you can connect with, and then with them you actually rotate from time to times. Thank you. And I see Nikita Mataji.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about this Japa workshop every Monday. Like, what time does it happen, and how does it happen?
So we do it on Zoom. Maybe you can try to mute yourself, Nikita. Otherwise, I'm getting the echo. Yeah, it's actually happening on Zoom. It's every Monday from 4:30 to 5:30, and it's 1 hour where we have 3 times 5 minutes of speech. So I give like 5 minutes at the beginning, and then we chant 2 rounds. Then I give 5 minutes. Then we chant 1.5 rounds, and then I give 5 minutes third inspiration, and then 1.5 rounds, something like this, depends how fast you chant. But more or less you chant 5 to 6 rounds during 1 hour, and we chant together on Zoom. I mean, we are muted, but we can see each other chanting, and we have 3 inspiration that more or less on one tema on one thought. So it's short, it's give a direction, and then we practice, and then we go a little step deeper with the next inspiration, then we chant together, and then the third one, and like this, more or less. So if you want, I can send you, I will share with all of you the link of the Zoom, in case you like to join sometimes. You are most welcome. It's actually quite helpful for me, and I notice I'm doing since 1.5 years. There are almost no devotee who dropped off all those who are there, they they are there all the time. They also get some good inspiration. Okay, so we will
Thank you
go.
very much, Prabhuji.
Welcome. We'll go a little bit further. Now we were seeing a little bit about techniques. Now we will look at different moods. And let me see. Maybe I could ask Babajit Prabhu to read the moods, prayer and meditations.
Yes, Prabhuji. Moods, prayers, meditations. The holy name is not different from Krishna. Meditate on the meaning. Please engage me in your loving service. Offering yourself our thoughts, please accept me. Be aware of the goal you want to reach. Chant like to speak to Krishna, expressing your own desire. Chant in your spiritual identity as a soul, detached from body and mind. Calling Krishna like a child, crying for the mother. Affirmations. Krishna is there and listen to you.
Thank you. So these are like an example of different inspiration, different prayers or meditation you can have during the chanting. Some of them are very powerful and have the capacity to really help us to dive deeper into the chanting. We see affirmations. I will show you a little bit later. This is also something we visited in our Japa inspiration. This is given by Mahatma Prabhu. I will show you a little bit later. Here is one of the meditation. You chant like Krishna is hearing you, and we have the picture of Bilva Mangala Thakur, who was blind and who was singing songs for Krishna, and we see Krishna is there just very happily looking at him. So we can, when we chant, we can visualize this picture and think Krishna might be there listening to my chanting. So I try to chant it nice. And here is an example of the affirmation of Mahatma Prabhu. Oops, sorry. So these are actually small sentences that we can use as we chant. We can just from time to time remember those sentences, or whenever we notice the mind was gone, we just remember the sentences, and that has a very powerful effect to make us think in a different way. It's like a short sentence that helps you to focus your mind in the proper way while chanting. Like, for example, I treat the Mahamantra as Radha and Krishna fully present in sounds. So you can have one round where anytime you notice your mind was away, you repeat this sentence. Oh, I treat now the Mahamantra as Radha and Krishna fully present there. And you will see it makes a switch in the consciousness. It has a powerful effect to change the vibration of the consciousness. So this is like one of the techniques or mood of having affirmations during the chanting of Japa. So now a question that very often said, okay, we hear from Prabhupada and many devotees, we should just hear when we do Japa. So how do I hear and meditate at the same time? If I meditate, most probably think of some things and then I don't hear anymore. So how do I deal with those two things? And here we have a very nice graphic that helps you to understand. So in the center, in the middle, is the place of attentive hearing, where the mind is actually fixed with the holy name. And then around, you have a zone, which is a spiritual zone, which is a zone of meditation and prayers. And then you have the zone which is even higher, which is where actually we are in the zone of material thoughts, in the past, in the future, thinking of people, feeling tired, and so on and so forth. So most of the time, we are into the external ring, the total external ring with material thoughts and dreamland, japa. So it's usually very difficult to go from there directly to attentive hearing, which lasts long. We can try to hear, but usually the mind bring us back immediately to the to the external zone. Sometimes it's just so difficult to even hear one holy name. Sometimes you can try to bring the mind 3 or 4 times in the lapse of one mantra. So it's very difficult to stay in this attentive hearing. So therefore, what we try to do is from this external ring, we try to approach the attentive hearing by coming into the inner ring of meditation and prayer. And then from there, we try to go to the attentive hearing. And when we are losing the hearing, we try to stay in this ring of prayer and affirmation, of meditation. And then from there, we try to go back into the attentive hearing. So we try to be as less as possible in the external ring of material thoughts. And at least if we think of prayers or meditation or affirmation, we are already in the spiritual ring that is actually much more efficient and much more, how you say, favorable for us to access the attentive hearing. Therefore, it's good, yes, hearing that's what we have to do, but when it's very difficult, take the help of meditation and prayers to stay more close to the spiritual bulb where you can actually go into the attentive hearing. So here we see for the end some helpful tips. Maybe we could ask, I lost track a little bit who was reading or not. Maybe Nikita.
Helpful tips. Regularity in practice, every day, same time if possible. Regular amount of chanting, 4, 8, 16 rounds. Chanting early in the morning and in a quiet, holy place in front of altar. Chanting with other devotees of Prabhupada.
Okay. So these are just small tips. Regularity, it's important to do it every day, to have a regular number of rounds that you chant. This gives Krishna a signal. I'm not doing it only when I feel miserable, or I'm doing it no matter what, because my relationship with you, my Lord, is important, and therefore I do it in a consistent way. It shows to Krishna our sincerity when we can do it in a regular way every day and a regular amount of chanting. And like I was mentioning, early morning in a peaceful and spiritual atmosphere, and also chanting with other devotees, provided they don't chant too loud. It's actually very, very helpful. It can be very disturbing if someone is chanting loud and then you cannot hear yourself. You might really get so much effort to concentrate because the sound, another sound is entering you. So that works good when devotees around are not chanting too loud, at least for me. Okay, so that was for the Japa section, and now we come into the into bhajan, kirtan area. Here we can see one kirtan mela in Mayapur, where you can see how the devotees are blissed out from the so much singing of the holy name. So kirtan and bhajan. The definition of those two terms is sometimes not fully clear. But in ISKCON, usually when we speak about kirtan, is connected to loud singing and dancing, like standing up and dancing, singing. Kirtan usually is sing like this, but it's not absolute. And bhajan is more sing like more meditative, sitting down with harmonium, singing songs and prayer of acharya. This is more or less the way the terms are used in our ISKCON society. But it might also differ from different country or like this, but that's more or less the understanding. Both of them, kirtan and bhajan, has the meaning of glorifying the Lord. It's yeah. Then kirtan and bhajan. So here we will more or less many of the tips we discussed, techniques and mood we discussed in Japa are also able to be used while chanting kirtan or bhajan. The only difference is in kirtan and bhajan, there is actually the melody that is there. There is like an opening of the heart through the melody, but because sometimes the melody is spread out, it's not always easy to really keep our mind focused on the holy name. It depends very much. Some devotees are much easier with japa, some much more easier with kirtan. But the idea is no matter what we do, that we can connect inside of the heart and keep our mind connected to the name. This is really the most important things. So many of the things were discussed in Japa, of those mood and techniques. Now in Kirtan, we will see a little bit more the external of the Kirtan, and especially connected to instruments and how do we do it in a proper way. So learning to play nicely instruments, if you have qualifications. Some have more of the, let's say, musical intelligence, some have less. Some it's very difficult to keep the rhythm. Usually you have those two, you need those two for musical. You need to be able to keep the rhythm, and you need to be able to keep the melody. Sometimes some are moving from octave to octave, or it's just they don't follow the melody. So every one of us, we have different amount of this musical intelligence, and for some they are very good, some they are middle, and some they are very low. So for example, if you are in the very low category, if you want to still try, you will need a lot of time, a lot of endeavor to be able to do something, and it might never be so good. So you might just realize, okay, that's not my strong point. I will sing with the others the best way I can, but I will more focus my time in reading Bhagavatam or in chanting Japa, or another item where I have more capacity and more facilities in the practice of the item of Bhakti Yoga. I personally, for me, I can focus more on japa than in kirtan. In kirtan, I'm often dreaming, but it depends. Like I was speaking with a youth who was in a youth camp, and in the youth camp, Krishna conscious youth camp, they ask, okay, we will have japa and kirtan. All those who want to be for kirtan, you go in this place. All those who want for japa, you go in that place. And she said, I love Japa, and I was there, and there were only 3% in the Japa, and there were 65 into the Kirtan. So it shows for many it's actually helpful in bhajan, but at the same time, in bhajan or Kirtan, we have melody, we have instruments, we have so many things where our mind can go. But in Japa, you don't have anything else, just have the name. So it's a little bit more austere in Japa than in Kirtan and Bhajan. But again, I don't want to say one is better than another. It's also depending on you. In one sense, Prabhupada gave really this 16 rounds, and this is on Japa. He did not give like you have to sing 1 hour of Kirtan or Bhajan or like this. But anyway, I don't want to push what I like most, but this is definitely like some facts. Okay, so learning to play nicely instruments, if you have some qualification, sing loudly. It helps focus the mind and it involves the heart. So therefore, when you are in kirtan of Madhava Prabhu, often he will say little louder, little louder. So when you sing a little louder, it will take your mind, it will take your attention back to the holy name. Sometimes in the evening with my wife, we sing a song for our deities here at home. It's not the Maha Mantra, it's the Govardhan Astakam. And sometimes my mind is just so busy by what I was doing the day that I just cannot focus. And then I try to sing loud. And when I sing loud, it's just like very powerful. It just brings the mind under control. Then we have melodies bring mood and helps our emotions to be involved. You have different ragas that we will usually try to sing, and some of the ragas will be in mood of separation that will bring this mood that is very helpful. Some they will be more in mood of glorification, joyful, and Krishna is so nice. So mood have different melodies will have different moods that will help us to have different mood and emotions, involve different emotions in the singing. Okay, here very important. Everyone should follow the leader and stay in harmony with him. So Krishna's senses are Krishna is very sensitive, extremely sensitive. His ears are extremely sensitive, and we want to sing in a way that will be harmonious, so that we can actually give pleasure to Krishna. This is the whole mood is we want to give pleasure to Krishna. So therefore we have the leader, the one who sings first, and then everyone else become a servant of the leader. Sometimes someone is singing very slow, and we are more in the mode of passion, and we feel restless, and we feel, okay, let's play a little faster, let's push him a little bit faster. So that's not the right etiquette. Whenever we are there, especially for those who play instruments, we harmonize to the leader. How slow he is, we follow slow. When he wants to go faster, we go faster. When he's playing softly, we play softly. When he's playing strongly, we play strongly. That's extremely important. If we understand that kirtan and bhajan is to give pleasure to Krishna, we have to understand this etiquette, and we need to follow the leader and go through the mood of the leader. Sit close to each other to be supporting. It's not only the leader who is supporting everyone, but those who sing around the leader, they are supporting the leader as well. So it's actually we are supporting each other in the activity of kirtan, and therefore if we sit close to each other, we will have much more strength. If the devotees are spread all around, sometimes you see there is a kirtan singer, you have everyone sitting close to him and is powerful, and then the singer change. There is another singer coming up, and some of those who were next to the other singer are going away because they want to stop the singing now. And you have the new singer, and you have a empty ring around him, and all others are still sitting in the temple room. And then for him, it becomes extremely difficult to lead the kirtan because he don't have this support group. He cannot feel the support group. He cannot hear carefully the other singing. So when you see such a situation, come and sit close to him. And actually, your attentive singing will give him a lot of strength, because when he don't sing, he will actually hear. And when you are there and you sing with strength, you give him strength, and then he will be enthused to sing. And when he sings, he will give you strength because you are hearing. So this is very powerful rule. Don't let the kirtan singer alone. If you are yourself kirtan singer and you see the situation, just call, please come closer, please come closer. You will see it has a lot of influence. It will help you to sing much more nicely, and it will activate this awareness of supporting each other. When the devotees are sitting away from the singer, they will not feel, oh, the singer needs me. I'm there to support him. He needs my support. We'll just feel, okay, I'm here, I'm singing, I do my meditation, and eventually I think of some other things and like this. The leader should have the proper mood of worship, not putting himself in the center. which is actually very difficult because often when we lead, we immediately the false ego is coming up and we think, oh, what others think of me? I hope they like me. Should I sing faster or should I sing slower or like this? So this is very much a difficulty of the leader. If some of you are sometimes leading kirtan, and the key is actually every time you feel the false ego is coming up, and you are putting yourself in the center. Hear carefully. Hear carefully the name, and you will be put back in the proper space. When you get into those false ego trip of thinking you are great, you do so nice, what other thinks of you, you are not anymore hearing the holy name. So just focus back on the hearing, and you will be back in the safe position of being a servant of the holy name. Listen carefully to the singing of others. Yeah, I mentioned already. Okay, so that's more or less what we have for kirtan and bhajan. I would highly recommend you also to enter into the area of bhajan, especially I see we have many of you who are from Indian background. So you might be able to understand Hindi, you might be able to understand Bengali, and we have a lot of beautiful songs that are extremely powerful to change your consciousness, extremely powerful. And if you can learn them by heart, it will be very easy because it's your own language, and you sing them with those traditional melody. There is no better treatment to help the mind enter a devotional mood. This is really, I really want to encourage you. I sometimes sing some of them that I learn by heart, but for me it's still so difficult to know the meaning of each word. So I know more or less what it means, but when you know the meaning of each word, it's extremely powerful. And even if you don't have the most beautiful voice, or even if you are not the best with rhythm or something like this, the important is actually the mood and the awareness of what we are singing and the meaning of the songs that we are singing. So please, no matter what, try to learn some of the songs. I try to learn at least one song a year. That's not much. That's not much, but this is I want at least once a year, one song a year I should learn. And in the meantime, I review the other one I was learning the other year. It's extremely powerful and beneficial. There was one time where Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati was asking one of his disciples to sing, and this disciple was not at all qualified musically, let's say like this. And Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati wanted really to make the point that the most important is actually the attitude of the singer more than the skills and techniques and instruments and like this. So this is definitely the most important. Any one of you who is not let's say, musically skilled, don't worry. It's really the mood that is most important into the chanting. But it might be wise to not take the leading role, because it might be difficult for the others to be able to follow. The rhythm will break here and there, and the melody might not. It will be more difficult for the others to follow, and the whole harmony of the kirtan will be more scattered. Good, so that's for the workshop of today. Most probably we are finished earlier than planned, but not much earlier. Oh yes, we are supposed to end at 1:30, so we are quite early. So please let me know if you have any questions, anything to add, any discussion you would like to have on this topic. If not, we can stop here also. Let me ask, any one of you is sometimes leading kirtan? No. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
In
sometimes.
Gurgaon,
Okay.
Prabhuji, we have a Parivartan family group.
Okay. Okay.
One by one, we lead kirtan.
Okay. Great. Great. Yes, Nikita Mataji.
Prabhuji, in the beginning of the opening session of this course, they mentioned about a kirtan workshop of 1 week kirtan workshop in Golokadam. So when does it happen?
Where did you hear that?
I think it was mentioned in the opening session of this Bhakta course.
Okay. Okay. I think that was actually in the past, it was maybe something wrong in the advertisement. In the past, we used to do Bhakta Kuran place. There was no online facilities. So there we would actually teach the students the instruments and also how to sing and some of the songs and like this. But now with the online situation is not really possible. But what I can really suggest to all of you, for those of you who feel that they have some abilities for that, whatever temple is close to you, whenever you go to the temple, please ask devotee to teach you some of the instruments. Usually, the way it was done is first we learn kartals, which is the easiest way. Then one learns mridanga, that is a little bit more elaborate, and then one learns harmonium. So that one has really a very good balance, really good understanding of the rhythm before one comes to the harmonium. That's the way it was usually done. I actually did first harmonium and then kartals and then mridanga. And it's not that we need to be perfect in each of them before we go to the other, but at least to be able to play something slow, something fast, something like this. It's actually good. So I really suggest, even if you are not sure if you have some abilities or not, when you go to the temple, ask devotees, oh, can you show me a little bit? And it's actually a fantastic way of pleasing Krishna. This is actually to please Krishna with the singing of the holy name done in a nice way. It's very, very beautiful. So it's nice that you learn how to do it. And if you see you really don't have any ability, then no need to go further. But if you are middle, please try to learn a little bit. It's a very nice service. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I mean, we could definitely, if some of you or many other people will be interested, we could definitely make a weekend or a week in Golokadam where we could have like a special kirtan workshop. I know that in Radhadesh, in Belgium, they have how do they call that, kirtan? They have a workshop. It lasts longer. I think it lasts 1 month. And it's really, you learn all the instruments, you learn all the mood. You get teachers who are expert kirtanias who come and teach you. And it's mainly on the topic of kirtan, not too much on japa, but mainly on kirtan. And there you really learn proper. I think instead of bringing you to Golokadam, if you are interested to learn kirtan, I think the course offered in Radhadesh is really the best option. It's really, really good. But yeah, it might not be easy to get 1 full month of job to follow. But if there will be some interest, and like this, we have few devotees who are very qualified in teaching music in Golokadam. So it could be planned on 1 week, or that could be also possible. If some of you would like, you can just let me know. I see Dipali Mataji has raised her hands.
Prabhuji, is it possible online also for kirtan if we can learn online sessions?
Online sessions. I don't know how easy it is, because I notice in Golokadam sometimes we want to stream kirtan, and kirtan or sound vibration is taking much more of the internet function. And whenever we try to stream kirtan or bhajan, it's just like you really don't get so good. So I'm not sure. I do not have any experience on that. Any one of you has experience of learning instruments online? No. I can ask definitely Aditya Baladev, who is one of our best or main teacher on musical instrument, if that could be a possibility. For sure, you can learn a lot online if you go on YouTube, basic Mridanga lessons and like this. There are many persons who bring some courses. You could definitely learn also like this. Usually, we prefer to have a person is more personal, and then the person can say, "Oh no, you should take the Mridanga the other way around," or tap. Play more on this type of the finger, or so they can see the mistake and they can actually guide us better. I benefited a lot. Whatever I learned from Aditya Baladev, and he really corrected a lot of things I could not have learned by online. But you can also do something online like this. But to do it on Zoom like this, it will be difficult because the teacher might not see exactly where the finger is, and it might, but can be possible. But I have no experience. I would suggest try maybe one or those on online that you can find, that is not on Zoom, but that is like pre-recorded, that you might find on YouTube, and you can have a try, and then you see if it goes good, then maybe you are talented enough so that it gets nicely inside. If not, then maybe when you go next time to the temple, then you approach a devotee and say, okay, I was learning this like this. Is it all right, or can you correct, can you check out?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then I wish you a wonderful weekend. We meet actually tomorrow for the last session of the last session, which is a very nice one on the topic of Vaishnava etiquette, how to interact with different people, how to welcome guests, how to deal with family members, and things like this, like relationships in Krishna consciousness. So I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful Ekadashi. May you dive in spiritual practices, and look forward to see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Guruji. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.